Pop in those headphones and let's get into the raw and real side of entrepreneurship, health, and what it takes to achieve success in pursuit of becoming your highest self. You are officially on the path to becoming resilient in every area of your life. Welcome to Resilience Unplugged. Chances are, if you are listening to this podcast, you're a stressed out six-figure earner who knows your cortisol is probably high. You have no idea where to start to help this or improve this, but you also know you're not going to start with limiting caffeine daily. I've got you. I'm going to get into realistic things I am implementing to lower my cortisol as a entrepreneur. A little insight to my problem is my cortisol trend, it goes on the path we should be going down. However, my morning cortisol is skyrocketed. It is very, very high over what the average should quote unquote be. But my nighttime cortisol looks great. It looks amazing. It's right in trend. So what I have is I have a very high spike in the morning and then a very massive drop off around 2-ish p.m. And then I'm exhausted the rest of the day. So my current focal points are lowering my anticipatory stress. That is a hard word to say. Inflammation and my blood sugar. So again, current things that I am doing that could also possibly help you to lower your cortisol if you know it's high or just think it's high. If you are a business owner, chances are your cortisol's high. Just saying. Okay, let's get into it. I am training only 3 to 4 days per week. So I'm lowering the overall intensity of how I'm training. I love a bodybuilding style split. That is my bread and butter, my favorite. I love going for strength and really pushing myself. However, my body in its current state does not love that. So I'm doing 2 bodybuilding style workouts. They're usually full body workouts. If not, it's more of like a leg and upper focus, but 2 bodybuilding style workouts a week and then 2 Pilates. I've never been a Pilates girl, but here I am. We're doing everything we can to repair this body. Also with that, since again, I do like to go for strength, I'm implementing 2 deload weeks in my month. So I'm doing every other week. So one week I'll focus on strength. The next week I'll focus on a deload and then strength again, deload again. So every other week I have a different focus for the actual training I'm doing. Pilates stays the same. I've also nixed dairy and gluten from my nutrition. This was a hard one because I love milk. I love cheese. I love ice cream. I love bread. All of those things are my favorite foods, and I can no longer have them, at least not right now. The next 2 months, I'm on a very strict hormonal protocol to be able to repair this and really, if removing these foods does help my internal situation happening. So no dairy and no gluten. The last 2 years, I've preached a lot on the fact that you need to have breakfast before you have coffee. So I've been having breakfast before coffee, breakfast in the morning for a couple of years now. However, I was not having full breakfast meals. My breakfast was a Giovanni drinkable yogurt or a protein shake, something very fast, easy, and simple. I have now tried to implement a full breakfast in the morning. And now with my protocol I'm on a meal plan. And my current meal plan is 2 eggs, 3 pieces of turkey bacon, and then I have a smoothie I make with lots of stuff in it. So I have actual whole foods in my breakfast, not just a shake. I've also implemented slower mornings. This was a hard one for me. I was a girl who would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I would work out at 5 o'clock, get to work at 7 o'clock. I was just on it. Mornings are my prime time. It's also nice as a business owner because no one needs you at that point. So it was nice in the morning to get in my me time. It was time that I had that was undirected towards anyone else but myself. But that I think is part of the thing that caused me to have this really high cortisol in the morning and have that massive drop off. So I'm now having slower mornings. For me, this means I'm not waking up super, super early. And I'm also not training fasted or in the morning at all. The earliest I will go for a workout is 11 o'clock. I've been going around 12 to 2 is like my time frame now to go and get a workout in. but I'm no longer training in the morning and I'm really focusing on a slower morning. What this looks like for me is doing my skincare. I love skincare. I can spend all day doing that. So I have a good amount of time spent to that. I will get ready in the morning. I will read my Bible. I will drink my water, make my breakfast. I have like an hour to myself where I am focusing on chilling out. I go for a walk. I get first light. I'll cover that in a second. But I am just focusing on really fueling my mentality for the day and not starting out checking my phone, getting cortisol spiked, getting a workout in. Like my mornings have totally flipped on their head, but it's good in the long run. I also have no screen time in the morning the first hour I'm awake. I used to wake up in the morning, like I'm sure everyone does, check your phone, whether it's checking Instagram or checking TikTok or checking your email or checking your client messages. I would just get to work. And that's just what I did. I have found that not only does this help to lower my cortisol, it's really good for your mentality too. It is not healthy to wake up and automatically see what people are thinking of you. If you are looking at your likes and comments, see if a content didn't perform well or did perform well, seeing what clients are saying, having your brain work, seeing emails that could not be good emails or they could be great emails. It's just not ideal. And I have also realized that when I did not immediately go to my phone, my mentality the whole entire day is a lot better. I saw this thing on TikTok and it was about this neuroscientist who said that since she's been studying the brain, she does not do a few things in the morning. And one is looking at her phone first thing in the morning. And I thought that was so groundbreaking. I was like, oh my gosh, I do this. And I didn't know that was bad for you. But she said that we have dopamine from social media. Whenever we first wake up and get that initial spike and hit of dopamine, we are going to be more quote unquote addicted to it throughout the entire day. If we don't start our day with that, we don't crave it as much. And my phone became a big distraction. Now, granted, I do work from my phone. I work on social media a lot, so I'm on the app a lot, but I've really implemented hard stop times around social media. I also turned on the notification of screen time limits. So I only have so many hours per Instagram and TikTok that I can be on there before I am exiled for the day. And if you do put this setting on, there's an option to remind you later, have 15 more minutes, have 1 more minute. Do not click that, just exit out and don't go back on. Really have a lot of discipline and sticking with that setting you have put on yourself because it's going to help to become easier. Now I don't even think twice about it. I honestly don't even reach that anymore. But if I ever do on those days where I'm like recording a lot on TikTok itself or I'm doing something on Instagram a lot, I just don't get back on the app. I am done for the day. That also includes before bed. So the morning was the hardest one for me. I now also do that at night and I started off with 30 minutes and then I went to an hour. So now I have it an hour before I go to bed. I'm not on my screen or not on my phone at all. And it is so nice. The next thing I've started to implement is getting outside as early as I can to get first light. There is a guy named Gary Brecka, and I think he is so good in this realm. He talks a lot about first light. And first light, I can't recite everything he says. He's really good at explaining it, but it is one of the most powerful things to get your day started off on the right foot. It's great for your overall circadian rhythm. And it also, I believe, does not have UVA or UVB rays, I think, something of that nature. It's pretty much first light is sun rays that are not harmful for you if you're worried about, skincare and sun, all that fun stuff. That is one of the best lights to get in the morning. Another weird one that I started doing was vagus nerve stimulation. My coach recommended this, and this is pretty much just getting your vagus nerve, like it says, stimulated. You can do it through humming, gargling, or singing very, very loudly. I'm still trying to implement this. It's a little bit of a different one. But what I do is I have mouthwash in the morning. That's the way I've found that makes it the easiest for me. I already mouthwash in the morning. So I will just mouthwash a little bit longer to really get some stimulation in my vagus nerve. Another thing I implemented as well as multiple walks a day. On my rest days from the gym, I go on about a 45-minute walk, but I also focus on getting in every 3 to 4 hours, a 10 to 15 minute walk. and getting movement, getting outside is so, so, so helpful. It's not only helpful to get your steps hit and just get some fresh air, it's so great for your brain. It is so, so, so good. Our brains and our bodies are not apt to focusing on our screen and work for hours and hours on end. I was somebody who would just work from 7 o'clock until 7 o'clock at night. I was working all the time. I would eat in front of my screen. I would do everything, and I would just not move. I felt like I could not get up from my screen, or I was not being productive. The thing is, that actually impacts your productivity. So I highly, highly, highly recommend to implement every 3 to 4 hours, getting some kind of movement. It could be a 5 minute thing. Go do your dishes. Just do something outside of being on your computer 24/7. Another point that I heard from another podcast was on Diary of a CEO. It was somebody who works with Whoop. I believe she is either a PhD student. I think she's getting her PhD in psychology right now, but she's a doctor or something. She was pretty high status. And she was saying that in the morning, even if I have a lot of friends who have a hard time like going to bed early and having that hard off time. So she was saying that it's more beneficial to have the same wake up time than it is the same bedtime. Now, I please, please, please beg of you, try to have the same time you're going to bed every night. But if you're traveling or it's a late deadline for something, or it's just a one off situation that's happening, you can go to bed later. That's okay. But if you can, try to, if possible, wake up around the same time every morning, because that can really help your overall circadian rhythm and just regulate everything. That's another thing too. I'm focusing a lot on regulating my circadian rhythm. So I've been focusing on this for a while. Like I said on previous podcasts, I've been actively trying to lower cortisol for over like 5 or 6 months now. And I'm learning as I go different things that I can do and implement. But my circadian rhythm was one of the first things I started implementing. And that's just a 24-hour window your body's awake and it's able to respond to stimulus. It's not just when you go to bed, which I thought it was. It is not. It is actually your entire 24-hour clock that your brain is on and your body's on. So optimizing this is so beneficial for your overall health, but even more to regulate your cortisol. If you are also like myself struggling, or again, just have a hint that you may be having an issue in that regard. I hope this podcast was helpful. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, or want to go more in depth on something with me, or have something you actually would maybe add to my routine, please let me know. I'm open to any suggestions y'all have. If you felt this was helpful, please share with a friend that you think would benefit from it. I would love to get the podcast in more people's hands. I think it's going to be such an amazing, amazing year for all of us. I cannot freaking wait. New podcasts, again, are every Wednesday at 8 a.m. CST. Hope you have an amazing week. I will see you next week, and go be resilient.